of trig identities. This is trig identities part 3, very last question before we go on to the next one, the next topic. So example, again, it's a non-calculator one. So it's to do with trig identities, reminding us of what our trig identities are. They're all on page something or other. They're all on page whatever this is. Is this 11? Page 11 has got all your trig identities in there. Tan theta equals sine theta over cos theta. Cos squared theta plus sine squared theta equals 1, the Pythagorean one, trig identity. And the double angles. Sine 2 theta equals 2 sine theta cos theta. And the double angle formula for cosine has 3 different versions. There's cos squared theta minus sine squared theta, 2 cos squared theta minus 1, 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. They're all in your formula booklet as well, so you don't need to memorize those. So last one, of course, is going to be a bit trickier. That's why I've given you a whole page to be able to write it out. It took me about half a page of writing for it. So the expression cos 4x can be written in the form of 1 minus b sine squared theta cos squared theta. Find the value of b. So basically b is just going to be like a number or something, yeah, just basically a number. We need to be able to do something with this to turn it into something that looks like this, where b would be a little number. So cos 4 of x, is there any, are there any trig identities that have cos 4x, or do you have any ideas what you might start to do?
Yeah, I'm going to do cos 2x and then double that.
Yeah, exactly. So what, if you want, we could call it cos to something else, like maybe let's call it, do you want to call it W or something, or U? What's a good letter?
W, because it's spice.
W? Oh, that sounds great. Okay, good. So what we could do is, we could use cos 2W. So this thing, we could use double angle formula. I'm going to have to calibrate again, sorry. Angle formula for cos. Just quickly do that. But what we could do is, instead of calling it cos 2x, we could call it cos 2u, and we define u as being 2x. I'll see what I mean by that. So we could say, for example, let W. So Laura suggested let's use a different letter, like W. Maybe let's suggest let W equal 2x. So what would 2W equal then?
4x.
Yeah, so we could therefore redefine this one as cos 2W. So we could use a double angle formula. Cos 2W equals, and that's now like, which one are we going to use?
It is pretty hard.
So remember, the tricky part was there's 3 different versions for the double angle formula for cos. And again, like, they should in theory all work, but sometimes it's try to think which one's the easiest one. Yeah, you could use that. The one I used was, what one did I use?
That makes sense. We have sine and cos right there.
Yeah, feel free, if you want to try doing that, feel free to experiment. Maybe experiment with 1/2, and we'll see if we get to the same answer. The one I used was the one from the formula booklet, cos 2 theta. I used 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. But really, in theory, like, I'm thinking anyone should work for this one, hopefully.
Wait, why did you do that one?
Yeah, why did I do that one? Because I didn't do a link. I'm trying to think, why did I choose this one? I chose this one because, and then let's leave that blank. And so when I remember, we'll go back to it. I chose this one because there's a reason why. So therefore, if you rewrite the double angle formula in terms of W, and we'll just say let W equal 2x. So cos 4x would therefore be cos 2W. Because 2W, 2 times W must be 4x.
Why did you choose 2x?
Because, like Lucy said, if we want to use the double angle formula, it's got to be 2 something.
Oh, okay, and it's 2.
Yeah, and therefore we'll just use a different letter instead. Cos 2W would therefore equal.
Wait, why can't we just do 2x?
Because, oh, like, what could you do with that then? That's the only thing. Like, you couldn't do anything with that.
Because you need to redefine it for it to make mathematical sense, and you can't just do 2x and 4x.
Because they want us to turn that into that.
Same thing, but if you changed it, instead it would be the same thing. So like that's equals W.
Oh, so that's 2 brackets 2x, which equals 4x. so that they're the same. Wait, say that again? So this W equals 2x.
Yeah.
So if you were to put it back, it would be 2
I
bracket
got you.
2x.
Okay.
Plus 4x.
Nice.
So here is just a little reference formula from the formula booklet. And I chose this because, and I can't remember why I did, but maybe it'll come to me when we kind of do it. But maybe it doesn't really matter. I don't know. But there's a reason why, and I can't remember why. So we'll just leave it blank for now, and then when it occurs to me, then we can fill it back in again. I should have written it on here. So the reason why we've defined W as equal to x is we don't know any special trig identities that have cos 4x. We do know ones that have cos 2 theta. So if we could therefore just say W is 2x, then we could use the double angle formula for cos. So I've used this version of it, and notice I've just replaced the theta with W, and then it therefore is all good. And what did I do next? So, right. Oh, there's a length, yeah, just hopefully you got a little space here. So what I did first of all, sorry, I wrote that thing equals that thing above it. Sorry about that. So I just wrote actually wrote the problem out to make it more obvious to start with. So hopefully you got a little space here. I just wrote cos 4x equals that thing. 1 minus b sine squared x cos squared x. So sorry, there was a bit where I was looking at what have I done? I forgot to actually just write them next to each other. So cos 4x equals that, because that's what the question said. And now we can kind of like say let w equal 2x. It was probably easy the other way here.
Sorry, did you figure out why you chose it?
No, not yet. Yeah, not yet. I'll get back to you. And I think it's because, I can see it. It's actually something really simple, sorry. It's because see the answer's in the form of 1 minus something, and this one's the only one that's got the form of 1 minus something. So it just meant that it was really fast to at least get that part done. And now what we've got to do is we've just got to prove that 2 sine squared w is going to end up equaling that thing, being the same thing as that. So it is kind of less work.
W is theta.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this, yeah. And
So
technically,
why can't we just
w
write
is 2x.
theta?
Yeah, you could have, yeah. You could have said theta equals 2x.
Why did you make me choose a letter?
It's showing you that you can, that it's possible. Yeah, you could have said, like in my initial one, I did theta equals 2x. And all that kind of bizzo.
Sorry. Wait, so x is theta?
No, 2x is theta.
Yeah, 2x is theta. If you want to do theta instead,
So it's basically so 2x. Well, you're doing cos 2 theta. 2 theta equals 4x.
You, Lord, but Heather was not even asking.
actually even easier. I think I started to do that green thing. And
Okay, I'll take it.
so guys, I think I started to do the green thing and then I kind of dumped it. But you can still leave it because it's a good thing. Sometimes you do need that strategy. So I'll just quickly show this one. So cos, please don't do that. Okay, cos.
I spilled water, so I'm trying to clean it up so that
I know, but this is tricky. So please, people want to concentrate, and so do I. Okay, so the expression is so cos 2 times 2x. If you want to put the 2x back in, that seems to be confusing people anyway, equals 1 minus 2 sine squared 2x. So in a way you kind of didn't need to. I think I started doing that, but then in a way you don't need to. So if it is confusing you can just leave it like that. But in a way maybe it just at least means that you understand what that means. Cos 2 times 2x is obviously cos of 4x is equal to 1 minus sine squared 2x this time. And then sine squared 2x.
So how come we're not using W anymore?
Because it's
I
confusing.
mentioned when you were doing other stuff. Yeah.
Sorry, because I was cleaning up my water once again.
Because they're going to use the W to show like strings and...
So W equals theta
That was just
equals
the best one
x.
time.
It is useful though. What's that?
Oh, so W equals theta equals 2x.
Just scratch W.
But now I'm just confused.
You want to know that 2x? You were right. Yes, you
Yes?
said is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. What you said is correct. Yeah.
So why? Okay, I'm just kind of confused as to why we didn't use theta throughout the entire thing.
Because the thing has x, the question.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes if I put theta, I get confused and think, oh, the question was about theta, because so at least W reminds me. Oh, hang on, W means something else. Yeah, whereas theta, I could by mistake get a bit lost in the problem and think that theta was what we were trying to do. Yes.
Do you have actual lesson 3s and actual topic assignments?
Yes. Okay, so that's what we've kind of got at the moment, and it makes sense. Cos 4W is cos 2 plus 2x, and then we've kind of subbed in that thing, and then to put that in here, the reason why I popped the 2x back in here at this point is so that you might be inspired to think of another formula, because the 1's fine, we've got the 1. It's this thing we need to turn into that kind of thing.
Oops.
Can anyone think of something here, what we could use here? Sine squared 2x, so I'm doing green, sine squared 2x, would you agree is the same thing as sine of 2x all squared? Would you agree with that?
That's what
Yeah, exactly. So sine squared 2x is technically means sine of 2x squared. Is there a special formula for sine of 2x that we have in our formula book?
Yep.
Yeah, what's that one called?
Like Tim said, 5 by 1.
Sine of 2x?
Or the double angle.
Double angle formula, yeah. So it's a double angle formula.
We don't have a square with it. That's why you took it out? Yeah, that's why you took it out.
Yeah, that's why I've kind of rewritten that like that, so you can see. So we could therefore so use double angle formula for sine.
Just don't have space to write that down.
Formula for sine. So use the double angle formula for sine. So remember the double angle formula for sine is, what is it by the way? 2 sine 2 theta equals, or you can use x if you want, sine 2x equals.
2 sine theta.
Yeah, so see how that's kind of going to get us a little bit closer towards the question? What we're meant to kind of get? That's one formula. That's another trig identity. That's another here. There's the formula booklet, big one. Because see, the question's meant to end up being something like this thing, sine squared theta, cos squared theta. So what could we replace this thing here with, the bit that I underlined in purple? What could we replace this whole thing with? Yeah, with that thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and but that's a good point, with a bracket around it and squared. I'm just going to calibrate again. It's getting really sweet. Coolio. So we'll do Coolio. So cos 2 of 2x, or you can think of it as 4x if you want. So I wrote 4x cos 2 of 2x equals 1 minus 2. And see how we can replace it with the thing in purple. 2 times 2 sine x cos x. By the way, that's meant to be x's here, sorry. So it's in terms of x. And squared. So I could by accident easily forget the squared. that. Let's expand what this thing in brackets is. Because what we want to do is we want to turn it into something with like sine squared x, cos squared x. So this is still just cos squared x. Equals 1 minus 2. Boards. 1.
Just take a breath, Miss Miller. You'll be okay.
I know, it's just like, why don't they just replace these boards?
Okay, why did we even have to change the 4x in the first place?
Just to show you that, like,
Exactly.
Because
if you get that.
Try and make it easier.
Because you wouldn't have realised a double angle for sine was possible.
Have you seen like a complaint about this board?
Yeah, ages ago.
Oh, that's not fun.
Yeah.
Just don't want to.
Was that?
So you still get it.
No, I don't know. I think because it costs money. Oh yeah, they've tried it. They've looked at it and tried, said, oh, they've done stuff, but it's still always the same. They need to replace the board, basically.
Yeah.
It's a board that needs to be replaced. So maybe I should again and just say, look, it needs to be replaced. But you know when sometimes you're worried they're going to replace it, it's actually going to be worse.
Yeah.
1 minus 2. So what is if you times 2 sine x cos x by itself? Yeah, what would that be? 2 sine x cos x all squared would be, yeah, like 2 sine x cos x, I think it's x at the enter, times 2 sine x cos x. So see this thing in brackets squared, what's it going to become? So Sarah, what's 2 sine x cos x times 2 sine x cos x? Anyone?
2 sine x cos x times 2. Isn't it 4 sine x squared?
Yeah, so 4 sine squared x.
And then 2 cos square x.
Why isn't it just cos square x?
It is.
Good question. Why are we on this side of the board now?
These are little references. This is proving that, remember, these are little reference things for why. This is the working out on the left. These are references for why I'm subbing in certain things.
Oh.
Yeah, so remember these things on the side are purely just to explain why we're replacing certain things with certain things.
Would you consider this to be a hard question?
Yeah, and it's not done yet. So first of all, remember we've got 30 lessons to go, so let's keep going. 2 sine x cos x times 2 sine x cos x. What's the answer?
Wait, why isn't it 2?
Why would it be 2?
Because it's 2 cos, but no, it's just 1 negative.
That's under.
What?
What is the extra x?
It's multiplied. You see, it's squared. Squared means times itself.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
We
Yeah, it's confusing with all the x's.
into the equation.
Yep. But why is it that answer? Because a lot of people aren't sure why it's this answer.
Because you have to square it.
No, I understand. I just want to
Because of
So be an 8.
it fits the thingy. Once you sub it back in, it fits
No,
the
that's a
formula.
lie.
Why are we?
Okay.
Why are you questioning the answer? What we
I think a lot of people are confused.
It was just me.
Okay. Alright, so 2 sine x cos x. Why is it 4?
Because 2 times 2 is 4.
Good. Why is it sine squared x?
So sine x times sine x is sine x squared.
Good. Yeah, and cos x squared x.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now let's put this in. So remember, like a lot of people aren't sure why, so that's why I'm saying that one. So 4 sine squared x cos squared x. You might want to put a little arrow or something to sort of like point out where that thing came from.
I did as well. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, because otherwise you might look at stuff and go, what on earth is this? And that's where this one kind of went in there. So it covers up my square cover. Great. Great.
Oh, Lord, that lesson. We're off again.
Okay. All right, what next? I'll let you guys decide.
Multiply them.
Yeah, what do you do? Okay.
Cos 4x equals 1 is 8 sine squared x cos squared x.
Well done. So guys, pay attention because we're at the end.
Maybe it's Lenny.
Yeah, you're right.
It's sine squared x or sine x squared.
The same thing. It's basically the same thing. The math goal is just told us to put the square in front of the x.
And I think in a way it does make sense because if you write cos x squared, you always have to put in the bracket. It's more work, isn't it?
Oh, because it could be x squared.
Yeah.
Or, oh god.
Cos of x squared rather than cos x times cos x, yeah. And so it means you just, so it's a bit simpler, right? If you write cos squared x, it saves you having to put in the bracket all the time. So in a way it is kind of nice. So what we've done here is we've just times that by that. So like Calvina said, it's cos 4x. There's this, but I can put it in the bracket. 1 minus 8 sine squared x cos squared x. So what's our answer?
B equals
Yay! How did you get b equals 8?
You saw the number.
I don't. Because see what you've done is. Yeah, it's just hard to know where to start. So see, because they wanted to know what b was. It's a harder one. They're pretty fun. I like these ones, but yeah, they take a little bit of blind experimentation.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Kind of just faffing around, I call it.
Can you go
So notice, yeah. Oh, I chose this because, remember the reason why I chose it? Sorry, I'll go back to it.
Any formula that has a 1 minus something.
Exactly, yeah. So just a reminder, I didn't fill this in, sorry, but I chose this one because, as Kiesia just said, the question wanted it as 1 minus something, and this is the one that has it as 1 minus something. So it just felt to be the better one to pick, the easier one to pick to start with. Just meant at least one of the terms was already done. So I didn't write that in, sorry. So b equals 8, yay! Okay, I'll just quickly stop this and we'll convert and I'll hand out the answers to the